Good afternoon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It has been a 2-year layoff, but I recently traveled to Rome for the tennis in which Alex van der Zverev and Iga Swiatek won their titles, and it reignited my spark to want to work in tennis media. So I've decided to make a return to YouTube. It did feel like a great time to do it with Wimbledon coming up, so I'll be posting lots of videos about that. Hopefully getting some more players on to interview and talk about their careers. And I'll also be doing a lot more types of these videos in which I look at players' careers and where I think they can go in the future. I am aware my webcam isn't working, so it is just going to be my audio today, talking over a presentation I've made on the career of Emma Raducanu. That will be something that's fixed in the future, and I'm delighted to get back making content about tennis. So I'll go straight into it and look at the career of Emma Raducanu so far and what I think is next for her in the future. So just quickly looking at her career path. Her junior career was glittered with lots of success. She won many titles on the ITF Tour, at one point going on a 20-match plus winning streak, winning 4 consecutive ITF titles. And I think the LTA recognised that Emma Raducanu was someone that could be the flag bearer for British tennis in the future, win many titles, win Grand Slams, which she's already done, and hopefully inspire the next generation of players to come through and follow in her footsteps. I first watched Raducanu play at the Manchester Trophy in 2018 on grass, and she was already the talk of the town despite her age, and everyone was looking forward to seeing her. And despite her losing in that match, you could already see that she had so much natural talent on return of serve and backhand in particular. But she was just a player that moved so well. She timed the ball impeccably well, and you could see that she was going to be a player that progressed to become potentially a top 10 player in the future in the professional ranks. Moving on to 2021 now, where Raducanu made her WTA debut in the Nottingham Open in the UK. Following that, she got a wild card at the Wimbledon main tour event, and she reached the 4th round of Wimbledon, and that was when she really shot to stardom. I don't think many British tennis fans, let alone tennis fans, had heard of Raducanu at this point, but she got some great wins, playing some brilliant grass course tennis, and she became the youngest British woman ever to reach the 4th round. Similar to when I first saw her, you could see the natural talent and weapons that she had. Her return of serve is so natural. She reads the game incredibly well. She's got the great backhand slice from an early age, picks the corners very well, and she just times the ball brilliantly for a player with very little experience on a professional tour at that time. I think shooting to stardom that early can be certainly have its pros and cons in terms of the media and the fans and the expectation that comes with it. But she was a player that from a very early age you could see was going to have a great career in the sport. Moving on now to September 2021, where Emma Raducanu broke all types of records, winning the US Open. She won 10 consecutive matches, including qualifying. She didn't drop a single set on winning that Grand Slam, and she was the first player to win the US Open without dropping a set since Serena Williams in 2014. She became the first qualifier in the Open era, men's or women's, to win it from qualifying. She became the British #1 and got into the world's top 25. And although Raducanu didn't beat a top 10 player at that tournament, she was by far and away the best player. And the tennis that she produced on that level in a second ever Grand Slam was just jaw-dropping at times. And I predicted it from the 3rd or 4th round that she was actually going to go on and win the tournament, because I felt the level that she was reaching was quite incredible. And you could see she was riding a wave. She was playing without pressure. She was timing the ball brilliantly. She was serving and returning. And I think being an unexpected quantity, no one really knew how to play her. No one expected to be as good as she was. And she just coasted through every match that she played in. She got a favourable draw, but she played some outstanding tennis. And in that final, when she played Leylah Fernandez, I thought it was a match that was played at a very high level, and she thoroughly deserved the win. And it was a brilliant moment for British tennis, a brilliant moment for Emma Raducanu, and hopefully a Grand Slam win that she can build on and add to in the future. So going on now to 2022, where we saw lots of changes in coach. We saw injuries, unfortunately, start to hamper Raducanu's progression. I think when you look at this, there's certainly context needed. I think the levels that the WTA tour puts on somebody physically and mentally is very, very demanding. You could see Raducanu was not used to the demands of the WTA tour. She was still finding a style. She wanted to find the right coach and the right team to take it to the next level and really stabilize her career, that she could feel she could compete on all surfaces and really climb the rankings. And I think personally she should have taken a break at this point. I think she was getting invited to a lot of events because of the US Open win. She was doing lots of sponsorship events at this time, which is understandable. She was trying to travel over the world when I didn't think she was really fit, changing her surfaces a lot of the time, and her performances weren't justifiable of how good a player she is. I think she was going out in court almost to make appearances rather than to win, and causing herself more injuries. And I think at that time it was a mistake that was easily made. But you should have taken a break at that time, or at least gone back down to ITFs, in my opinion, just to get some experience, get some wins under her belt, because she was a very young player and a very inexperienced player at that time. In 2023, as we know, she went through 3 surgeries, 2 on her ankles and 1 on her wrist. She dropped outside of the top 100. And I think they were almost a blessing in disguise. I think it took a little bit of pressure off Raducanu at that stage. It gave her opportunity to schedule better, to recover, to learn from the experiences that she'd had, find the right coaching setup. And I think it was a break that she certainly needed. I don't think it's ever ideal having surgeries at a young age, but it did give Raducanu time to sort of settle on the tour and find out how best she was going to schedule and find the right team to be able to go on and progress and develop as she wanted to. In 2024, I think we've certainly seen a return to form. She had great success at the Billie Jean King Cup on clay, beating Caroline Garcia, which was a fantastic achievement when you consider the lack of matches that Raducanu has on clay. She's gained the first top 10 win yesterday over Jessica Pegula, and she plays her quarterfinal against Kasatkina later this afternoon, which I'm looking forward to watching. But I just enjoyed seeing how happy and driven, I think, and how well she was playing. I think that's the most important thing for Raducanu. You can easily forget how young she is. I think staying injury free, playing as much as possible, being consistent, playing at a high level, being happy on the tour and happy with her performances are the key things at the moment for Raducanu, rather than actually winning titles. And she's got huge support of the British crowd that definitely lifts the tennis to a new level. So just looking at Raducanu's career so far, and what I think of it, I think she's certainly passed the talent check. As I've said, I think from a very early age, you could see that she's going to be able to mix it with the top players. I think the level that we saw from her at the US Open proved that. The wins over Caroline Garcia on clay, beating Jessica Pegula on grass. It's easy to forget how inexperienced Raducanu is. I think that yesterday was her 13th match on grass, which seems quite inconceivable given the success that she's had so far. But I think she's shown on a day, when she's fully fit, when she's focused on the job, producing the best tennis, she's capable of mixing it with the very best. Raducanu's love for the sport is absolutely unmatched. I think she's had to deal with lots of unfair criticism in the past. A lot of it's been unjustified. When she's done sponsorship events or where she's pulled out of matches with injury, I think there's been lots of people that have criticised her for that, but they don't understand the demands of tennis, and it's very easy to criticise, but nobody really knows what's going on with the body. And it's not like it's a team sport where you can, have 20 minutes to bed back in. The WTA tour is littered with talent now. It's relentless, and you get thrown straight back in the deep end. It's sink or swim. As soon as you return from injury, you're back playing the top players, especially when you're getting wild cards and you're not ranked inside the top 100. You get dealt very difficult draws. And I think it's been hard for Raducanu to gather any sort of momentum with the different injuries that she's had. But I think yesterday, when you see the reaction when she beats Pegula, she knows the journey that she's been on, and she absolutely loves playing tennis. And I think she's going to dedicate her life to it and have a very successful future. Injuries are hopefully a thing of the past. As I've said, having multiple surgeries at 19-20 when she did is definitely a worry. I'm sure it was for her as well. But luckily, she looks to be on the right side of injuries now. I think she moved particularly well yesterday. Certainly the best I've seen her move probably since the US Open win. And yeah, she looks in a really good place physically and mentally, and hopefully that continues. I think understanding the demands of the WTA Tour now are massive for Raducanu. As I've said, when you're playing an individual sport and you're playing at a level that you've never played at before, pre-2021, it's difficult to recover from defeats, changing surfaces, traveling all the time. She had a difficult time finding the right coach. She's had to go through a lot in her early career, and I think she's learned from it all. I think she speaks very well about it, and she's going to use all that experience that she's gained already. She's only 21-year-old. She's already a Grand Slam champion. I think that'll stand in very good stead to progress into the top 10 in the mid-20s and potentially win more Grand Slams. Last thing I would say on that, I think the potential is scarily high. When you watch yesterday against Jessica Pegula, I mean, Raducanu hasn't had a lot of matches recently. Pegula is a top 5 player. She's had a great week in Berlin previously. And Raducanu makes the game look very, very easy at times. When she's serving and returning well, a backhand down the line, she can mix it with slices. She's good around the net. Forehand, I still think needs work, but when it's going in full flow, it's a huge weapon of hers. But you can see that I think Raducanu is the type of person and type of player that could be out of the sport for 6 months. She could step back in court against a top 20 player and be able to compete. As soon as she steps on court, she just times the ball brilliantly well. And I think when she's fit, she's firing, she's fully focused on the job in hand mentally. She's an outstanding player that can achieve whatever she wants in the game. So roadmap to success, how I think Raducanu can get the most out of her career, win titles and become a multiple Grand Slam champion. I think establish a full-time team now has got to be paramount for Raducanu. I didn't really mind her going through a lot of coaches, to be honest. I think it was a trial basis for a lot of them, working out what she wanted from a coach, how she thought she would benefit best. She was very young at the time. I don't think she was ever really in a position to be able to hire a full-time coach pre-Wimbledon. And suddenly she won the US Open and got thrown at the WTA Tour, got wild cards in every event, was asked to go to multiple, different countries on different surfaces week in, week out. And I think it was difficult to find a coach that wanted to travel with Raducanu full time, and also, for her point of view, someone that she felt was improving her on a daily basis. She's now working with Nick Cavaday, which is obviously going very well, given how happy and well she's playing at the Eastbourne, going into Wimbledon. Hopefully she has a fantastic run. If she can reach the second week, fantastic. If not, as long as she plays to a good level, I think Raducanu will be happy with how it's going. At this point, I think she does need stability. She needs a style that is suited and consistent to progress and develop. I would like to see Raducanu gain experience on each surface, particularly on clay and grass. She's had very little matches and very little practice. Even if it meant playing lower level events, it means getting match practice in unfamiliar conditions, then that's something that I would like to see her do. I don't think at this stage that winning another Grand Slam or winning Masters events is really at the forefront of Raducanu's mind. I think gaining the experience, getting used to the travel commitments, finding that full-time coach, making sure she stays injury-free, scheduling very well. I think they've got to be the sort of the basics to get right before we look to win more events. It's easy to forget that Raducanu is only 21, but I think she's a player that is very level-headed. She's grounded, and she's definitely learning and trusting the process as she goes. Phase 3, I think, is just to trust your level. As I've said, I think Raducanu is hugely talented, and she's capable of beating anyone in a day and becoming a top 10 player. I think deep down she knows that as well. It's why she is so demanding of herself and she trains so hard, because I think she knows she's got the shot, she's got the natural talent. It's just about putting it all together and staying fit. I would like to see Raducanu stick to her strengths. I think she's very natural, particularly on the return. It's a huge weapon of hers. She's moving very well, and I also really like her shot variety, particularly yesterday when you see her mixing with slices against Pegula, extending the rallies and winning those rallies. I think it's just testament to how good of a player that Raducanu is on all wings and in all surfaces, playing all different styles of tennis. Phase 4, I'd like to see Raducanu just win, even if it's low level events, challenger events. I think winning the title would do the world of good for Raducanu's confidence, and perhaps release a little bit of pressure from the media, which, as I say, I think it's personally unjustified. But the longer she goes that winning of the title, the more pressure that's going to put on her. I would like to see Raducanu use the confidence of winning matches to believe that she can win titles, and also just enjoy it, which I think she is. I think she went through a stage of not enjoying the tennis and looking a little bit lost on court, a little bit devoid of ideas, but I think they're certainly behind her. I think you can see in interviews she's much happier in herself. She's a lot more focused on the job. She's a lot more settled with where she is in the court, and she's playing the best tennis of her career since the US Open win. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope everyone enjoyed. I will try and do a lot more videos like that. Please leave a comment on the video with any ideas. If you can like and subscribe, would be much appreciated. There is going to be lots more exciting content coming. Hopefully some more player interviews as well. I do really enjoy doing those. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.